All right, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're looking at the round 20 review of the 2023 NRL season. And as you can see, ended up being quite a good week for us with 1,380, which was good enough for top 3% for the round. Obviously, not as fantastic as last week, but another big jump in the rankings. I sort of was targeting maybe the top 2.5K. But we're now just circling outside the top 2K. It's actually got us in the top 1% overall. There you go. I didn't realize there was that many teams. I guess it's 1 point something percent. It's not in the top 1%. And yeah, so let's have a look how the team went. A bit of a wild week with late outs and a bit of other carnage across the board. But as you can see as well, the Colonel, 3 out of 3 head-to-head wins, which was lovely for me. But Reed Money with the 64. Um, I didn't actually get to see the Bulldogs game being on a Saturday afternoon. I was predisposed with a bit of lawn bowling action at the time, so a solid return from him. That's why we got him for the rest of the year. And Harry Grant with the 95. So I did see he got over for a try, and I guess you add that on top of his usual work, and 95 is a good result. In the front row, Tino with 58, starting off the bench, obviously after Origin. So to get that result in the shortened minutes was really good. Payne Haas we've got as the captain, obviously looping in our VC score. And Tohu Harris. So this was a bit disappointing. I don't know why he spent so much time off the field. Maybe again, sort of in line with a lot of the other picks this week. Just resting up for the big back end of the season. Um, so 38, obviously, he's part of the front row, second row rotation, so we're not going to trade him out anytime soon. Dave Fafita with the 60, so he looked pretty cooked at the back end of that game yesterday against the Eels. I did get to see some footy yesterday, which was nice. But he's still got 60 points, so that's perfectly fine. Nikora with 99, including a little junk time try. We love to see that. So fantastic from him. Hopgood with the 61. Solid base type effort there from him. And obviously we didn't have any impact from our bench due to the buys. In the halves, Nico Hines. So I guess the correct call to take the captaincy off him. I guess getting a try helped with that score, but obviously the Sharks were comprehensively outplayed by the Warriors. So attacking upside was quite limited there for him. Sean Johnson, though, obviously on the flip side of that fixture with a 135. So I guess it sort of saved us quite a bit of a loss in cash, which is really good, I guess, for the Finnish team, as we may want to go with. Kalen Ponga, so VC'd him on the Friday night game, and he delivered with a 137. And obviously, the correct decision was to loop that. Matt Burton with a 44, so I guess may have been impacted by Toby Sexton having to go off with the concussion. And it might be a bit of a wait and see. Actually, probably with the 11-day rule. He may be partnered by Cole Flanagan this week. He may be pushed back to the 7. Um, so that could potentially limit his output this week. But I think he's still a hold to the rest of the season, till the end of the season, I should say. Joey Manu, so I guess a late out with James Tedesco meant that Joey Manu moved to fullback. So 79 is about what you can expect from him playing fullback. So good return there. Greg Marzu with a 102, so I guess playing on that left wing outside of Kalen Ponga's sort of sweeping play down that side is a pretty nice place to be, plus his usual runs and tackle busts and good stuff like that. Charles Nickel Clockstad with a 92, so obviously the Warriors had a bit of attack. He did get a try. So yeah, great result for CNK. And Ruben Garrick with a 50. So a little bit disappointing. I guess the Manly didn't have too much attack going on against the Cowboys, who are looking pretty good at the moment and probably have slipped a little bit under my radar, even though I have seen, some of their guns and their super coach averages lately. And so I guess to make the loophole work, we did have to withdraw Jacob Kiraz from the side, which meant we missed out on his 72, which was a bit disappointing. I don't believe there was any attacking stats in that. That's just, his running, offloading, tackle busting. Goodness, maybe a few more tackles as well, playing one further in the centres there. Blake Wilson with a 22. So I guess if he's not scoring tries, that's probably about what you can expect from him. We really did have him in here as a, origin replacement for Ade Carr, and then, he'd just be enough on the bench, but hasn't worked out that way. So, yeah, I don't think we need to trade him out. I guess it will cost us a few points when we're VC loopholing and the like, but, I guess look at the difference between Ponga and Hines, who was my original captain, and, I'll cop a 22 if it means I get Kalen Ponga's 137 as a captain score. Jermaine Osako with a 35, so I guess a bit disappointing. Um, yeah, having to play outside of UNA can be a bit tough on Supercoach in terms of getting some actual ball. But obviously as well, playing Penrith, they're a solid defensive unit, so we weren't expecting a great attacking output from him this week. And again, in hindsight, I could have flipped C&K or even Garrick back and played Kiraz in that position. And our other trade, obviously he didn't play last week, but James Tedesco will be back fit and firing this week. So in terms of trades this week, I don't know if we'd quite be able to pull it off, but the original plan and thinking was the team would be completely finished this week in that we bring in Cleary for SJ. And then that gave us 200,000 more to spend. I'll go by averages so he shows up a bit higher up. And so Latrell. So to do that, we were originally going to go with Manu out, but he's still got a bit of money to make. Uh, Unfortunately, we're about 5,000 short of a Zaka. I think that would have been a really nice trade. Um, so what I'm actually thinking is we hang on to the Johnson and Cleary trade for one more week, and then we can afford to go through a Sarko. So Supercoach has just opened, so I haven't fully looked at the numbers. Um, but if while we're here, we might as well. So break evens, and we'll filter it by halfback. So if we scroll down the bottom, which is where they're probably going to feature. So Nathan Cleary still has a 129 break even. I know he does play the Bulldogs at Penrith this week, and he can easily hit that. But Sean Johnson, after his effort, has clearly reset his break even a bit. Where is he? There he is. So break even of 34 this week, playing the Raiders, but is at home. And then does have the bye in round 22. So what I'm thinking is I can hang on to Sean Johnson for one more week. Hopefully, we hit that magic number of 121k difference between them, and then we can make that trade there. Right, but I guess the move I did want to make is to bring Latrell in, and I think, yeah, like I said with Osako, the combination of obviously the bye this week doesn't help, but also then playing outside of Ewan Aitken means he's probably not getting as much ball as he has earlier in the season. And just also, I think the Dolphins might, excuse me, as a lot of other first year teams sort of do, they might just be running out of a bit of juice at the back end of the season. Obviously, being up and about at the new club at the start of the year. Um, And I guess Bennett's got history of that as well with the Broncos and whatnot. But yeah, it might just be catching up with their squad a little bit. So I'm happy to get off. I've still got the five nice options here in the centre wing that I'm happy to play on any given week. Um, so I guess how the team will set up this week. And the great thing now is we've got so many options because we've obviously got Tarpany, Koloamatangi back, Latrell will be, Tedesco will be back. So I guess playing against the Panthers, we can maybe give Birdo the week off. Um, and maybe the same with Marnie if we're being completely honest. So we'll have Tedesco and Latrell. And then maybe, don't know what's quite going on with Harris there, but Tarpany and Koloamatangi. Hopefully, Big Pain's back. So it'll probably look something like this. In terms of VC and C, so Sharks against Manly. So I think, again, safe captain option there. Obviously, if you have Cleary, I think he's the pick up against the Dogs. Um, the other sort of targets down the bottom of the table, unfortunately, are playing each other this Thursday night. If you have Dream Buller, still, I think he's an awesome VC shout. But might even be Latrell against the Broncos Friday night, is the way I'm leaning. Could go CNK, I suppose, after that. So probably Latrell, I think, would be my shout this week for my team if I do end up making that trade. Obviously, team list will come out tomorrow. If you see Latrell and Cleary on there, I think they're two great options to get in. Um, just thinking out loud here, I just realised Latrell has quite a big break even too, so maybe you could give him a week to ease in. So it could end up being I do go SJ instead for Cleary if he is named, because I am scared about that fixture now that I think about it. I guess that's the point of these videos too. It's that initial reaction. So let's undo that actually, and we can go with if we do go that trade. So SJ out. It's so wild that he's missed so many games, but he's still seventh overall for points scored. Cleary, it's a break effort. All right, so if we were to go that trade, obviously I'll set here's my captain option. Again, we might just avoid the Bulldogs guys this week as much as it pains me to say. We don't need to sub Tedesco, he'll start. So what do we need? We still need to. So again we go these guys. And we could probably have Tohu Harris on the bench. 38 was 1 week aberration, I believe. Yeah, so it looked like this in terms of our VC. If we don't have Latrell, well, then we've got to go elsewhere. The Gold Coast weren't too bad defensively. Um, so when do the Knights play? Because he's probably our obvious loophole option. Mr. Martin, unless we go before Teddy plays on Saturday. Hmm. I mean, we could maybe go CNK. It's not the most obvious pick, but might be. I guess, we could just treat it like a straight C sort of job as well, and maybe, no, it doesn't really matter, Harry Grant or someone. But just for the video, we'll go CNK, take the punt. Could go big over there. It's in New Zealand as well. They're playing well. The fans are up and about for them. Yeah, so that's probably, I guess, the way I'm leaning at the moment. Yeah, because I am really worried about this game, not just as a Dogs fan, but obviously as a super coach who may go without Cleary this week. But yeah, I guess that sums it up for the time being. We'll leave it there. If you've got any comments on the team and how it's situated, feel free to throw them in the comment section below. Obviously, if you enjoy the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Lets everyone know that it's a good bit of gear. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.